she's gonna be murdered in a car, and nobody done nothing to protect her, because they know they're planning to do what they have done to my son.
We have reports from Paris that Diana, Princess of Wales, has been killed in a car accident.
A seismic shockwave has shattered the monarchy. King Charles and Queen Camilla have been sentenced for the tragic death of Princess Diana. For decades, rumors of betrayal, cover-ups, and hidden agendas have encircled the people's princess's shocking demise.
Mourners line the street, numbering in the thousands. Diana touched the lives of so many in her 36 years, and people of all backgrounds take her loss heavily.
But now, a stunning verdict has sent tremors through the royal family and beyond. Could the very figures at the heart of the British crown truly be guilty? And if so, what does this spell for the future of the monarchy? Buckle up, because the revelations ahead may upend centuries of royal history. The tragic accident. Princess Diana's death on August 31st, 1997, is often called one of the most shocking moments in modern royal history. She was traveling in Paris with her companion, Dodi Fayed, when their car crashed inside the Pont de l'Alma tunnel. The world woke up to heartbreaking news. The beloved people's princess was gone, and nothing would ever be the same. The official story points to a few main factors. First, the driver was found to have a high alcohol level, making him unfit to drive. Paparazzi chasing the car also played a role. Their relentless pursuit pushed the driver to speed, trying to escape the flashing cameras. Combined, these pressures led to a horrible accident in the early hours of that fateful Sunday morning. Yet, for many, the simple explanation never felt complete. In the days following, people around the world were plunged into deep sadness. Diana, admired for her warmth and kindness, had used her status to highlight causes like HIV/AIDS awareness.
Di worked to help children, those homeless or disabled, and made it part of her mission to remove the stigma associated with having HIV and AIDS.
HIV does not make people dangerous to know, so you can shake their hands and give them a hug.
Landmine removal and support for the homeless. The idea that her life ended in a dark tunnel felt painfully unfair. Bouquets, letters, and tokens of grief piled up outside Buckingham Palace and Kensington Palace, showing how much she was loved. Still, conspiracy theories popped up almost immediately. Some questioned the driver's behavior, while others blamed shadowy figures who might have wanted Diana out of the picture. Speculation grew even wilder when it was revealed that Diana had told close friends she feared having her brakes tampered with or suffering a staged car crash. These worries fueled talk that her death might have been no accident at all. Even today, people wonder if the paparazzi were truly the only ones chasing her that night. Official investigations were launched in both France and the United Kingdom. They gathered evidence, interviewed witnesses, and reviewed surveillance footage. Ultimately, both concluded that it was a tragic accident caused by negligent driving and media frenzy. Yet, some remain unconvinced. The role of the royal family, especially Prince Charles, now King Charles, and Camilla, has been debated. Rumors suggest Diana posed a threat to their happiness, adding a darker twist to an already painful event. However, no concrete proof supporting those claims has ever been produced in a court of law. Part of the public's doubt comes from Diana's popularity and her unsettled relationship with royal traditions. She stood out with her direct, caring approach. Many believed she was rewriting the image of a royal, one guided by warmth rather than duty alone. Some felt that this made her a target for those who preferred to maintain strict and old-fashioned standards. Diana's popularity and independence. Princess Diana was known around the world for her warm personality, heartfelt compassion, and bold sense of self. Even before she married into the royal family, she had a spark that set her apart from tradition.
A glimpse into Charles and Diana's marriage from the very beginning. Charles, reportedly unsure about whether he wanted to propose to the 19-year-old Diana.
As she became the Princess of Wales, that natural glow only grew brighter. Whether she was shaking hands with AIDS patients at a time when fear surrounded the illness, or comforting children in hospitals, Diana showed a unique ability to connect with people of all backgrounds. Her kindness earned her the nickname, the People's Princess, but her desire to do things her own way also led her onto a path of independence and self-discovery. For starters, Diana's charity work stood out in a royal world often defined by formality and ceremony. She went beyond ribbon cuttings and photo opportunities, choosing to truly engage with those she was helping. She walked through areas littered with landmines, spotlighted causes like homelessness, and brought attention to issues that were once ignored or misunderstood. Because of this, millions saw her as a caring, approachable figure who earned her popularity not just through a title, but through deep empathy. Yet, behind the scenes, this same strength sparked tensions within the royal family. Diana's independence was not always in sync with the rigid traditions upheld by the palace. She was open about her struggles, including her battle with bulimia and her emotional loneliness. Unlike previous royals, she wasn't afraid to show her vulnerability, which made many viewers feel closer to her. Still, it also brought unwanted attention to the inner workings of royal life. As her marriage to Prince Charles frayed, Diana worked even harder to define herself outside the confines of a princess's role. Rather than fading into the background after their separation, she pushed forward with a renewed sense of identity. She gave candid interviews where she opened up about her private feelings, her difficulties with palace life, and how she felt misunderstood by those closest to her. This honesty rocked royal circles, who had always preferred to keep personal matters locked behind palace doors. Once Diana and Charles divorced, her resolve to choose her own path became even clearer.
Well, now we have to worry about who gets the wedding gift walk, who gets the casserole set. Diana has agreed to get a divorce from Prince Charles, the final blow to the illusion of that Cinderella marriage.
She forged new relationships that defied traditional expectations and traveled widely to support her favorite charities. Freed from many official duties, she was no longer limited by the strict schedules or outward appearances demanded by palace life. People admired her for taking control of her future and speaking out about what she believed in, especially when it came to causes that affected the world's most vulnerable communities. Tragically, Diana's life ended far too soon in the 1997 car crash that shocked the entire globe. But her popularity and spirit of independence remain legendary. She inspired countless individuals to stand up for those in need and to live with honesty and courage. In a royal sphere often viewed as distant, she brought compassion, warmth, and a sense of realness that few had seen before. Even today, Diana's name represents the power of empathy and the beauty of living your truth, no matter the obstacles in your way. Conspiracy theories around her death. Princess Diana's untimely death on August 31, 1997, remains one of the most talked about events in modern royal history. While official investigations concluded her fatal car crash was caused by a mix of paparazzi pressure and the driver's drunken state, not everyone accepts this explanation. Over the years, many have claimed there was something darker at play, suggesting her passing was no accident at all. One reason these theories flourish lies in Diana's popularity and humanitarian reputation. She was known as the People's Princess, championing causes like AIDS awareness and landmine removal. She also showed a willingness to reveal personal struggles, from her unhappy marriage to her battle with bulimia. This openness made some people wonder if she was seen as too disruptive to royal traditions. Could forces within the monarchy or government have felt threatened by her growing independence? Adding fuel to the conspiracy fire is the letter Diana allegedly wrote some months before her death. In it, she reportedly voiced fears that certain individuals were plotting a car accident to silence her. Although critics question the letter's authenticity or meaning, it has long been cited by those suspicious of the official story. They argue that her sudden demise came at a time when she was forging a new life path and might have become an even more outspoken figure on the global stage. Diana's divorce from Prince Charles, now King Charles, and her later connections, including dating Dodi Fayed, also sowed seeds of speculation. Some conspiracy theorists claim the idea of Diana marrying someone seen as an outsider to the British royal realm was a reason for a cover-up. Even though no legal body has ever supported this theory with solid evidence, Dodi's father, Mohammed Al-Fayed, suggested there was a scheme to prevent their close bond. The British public's raised eyebrows weren't helped by the royal family's seemingly reserved response right after Diana's passing. To some, this came across as distant. In truth, Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Charles eventually made public appearances expressing sadness, but the delay only fueled talk that they had something to hide. The monarchy's private ways created a mystery that many did not know how to interpret. Internet communities have played a massive role in keeping conspiracies alive. With each new claim, online forums dissect every angle, from missing CCTV footage in the Paris tunnel to alleged sealed documents that might point fingers at powerful individuals. TV specials and documentary films have also revisited the night of Diana's death, asking whether all the details of the investigations were fully measured. Still, mainstream inquiries both in France and the United Kingdom concluded there was no plot to end Diana's life. No firm link was established to suggest higher powers orchestrated the crash. For some people, though, official findings do not resolve the many lingering what-ifs. The tragic nature of her accident has an almost mythic quality, inviting questions and speculation even decades later. As time goes on, the fascination with Princess Diana and the theories surrounding her death show no signs of fading. The role of the media. The media played a massive role in every part of Princess Diana's life, from her fairy tale wedding to her tragic death. Long before social media existed, newspapers and television stations eagerly followed her every move. Indeed, the overwhelming spotlight on Diana both elevated her to fame and fed the very forces that would later trap her in endless scrutiny.
There's a new look at the real Diana. It's set to the big screen in an upcoming documentary called The Princess. The film's going to use archival footage to explore the way Diana was treated in the eyes of the media.
As soon as she became engaged to Prince Charles, paparazzi lenses were trained on her day and night, capturing every joyful smile, tearful moment, and secret glance. At first, this attention thrilled the public. Diana was a fresh face in the royal family, full of warmth and kindness. She connected with the crowds in a way many royals had never done before. Front-page stories showcased her visits to hospitals and charities, and photographs of her elegant outfits sold countless magazines. It seemed the media and Diana had formed an unwritten agreement. She provided captivating images and emotional stories, while the press boosted her popularity to global heights. Yet, everything came with a price. As her marriage to Prince Charles faltered, the media latched onto every sign of trouble. Headlines screamed about her alleged unhappiness, her health struggles, and Charles's closeness to Camilla. Photographers waited on every corner, hoping for that one exclusive picture that might confirm gossip. This relentless pursuit invaded not just Diana's public appearances, but also her private life, fueling rumors of all kinds. Newspapers no longer just adored her. They also dissected her every move, seeking drama to boost circulation. Diana's split from Charles only sparked more media frenzy. She gave candid interviews, including remarks about feeling isolated in a crowded royal world, which made once subtle rumors explode into front-page drama. The press magnified every emotional statement she made, sometimes twisting her words to create more sensational stories. At the same time, Diana found herself using the media to champion important causes. By showcasing her compassion for AIDS patients, landmine victims, and marginalized communities, she harnessed the same coverage that hounded her private life. Her death in 1997 tragically highlighted the fine line between public interest and invasive press tactics. Paparazzi were blamed for chasing her car through the Paris streets. though the official investigation also focused on the driver's intoxication. Even after the crash, confusion over the actual sequence of events led to countless stories in the tabloids. The media turned her final hours into a puzzle full of unanswered questions, stirring conspiracy claims that linger to this day. Long after Diana's passing, the press continued to shape her story. Documentaries, talk shows, and magazine articles revisited the night of her crash, sometimes introducing new theories or pointing to fresh evidence. Meanwhile, certain outlets sought to rehabilitate King Charles and Camilla's image, painting a calmer, more sympathetic narrative of a grieving husband who eventually found happiness again. As the years have passed, the media's role remains huge. It both celebrates Diana's charity work and replays the darkest chapters of her life, reminding everyone that the bright glare of public attention can be both a blessing and a heavy burden. Explosive verdict rocks the monarchy. News of a shocking verdict has rippled through Britain and beyond, casting a fierce spotlight on the House of Windsor. For years, conspiracy theories swirled around Princess Diana's tragic death in 1997, with whispers suggesting shadowy forces played a part in her fatal crash. Now, in a dramatic twist, rumors claim a courtroom has delivered a jaw-dropping decision that points the finger at King Charles III and Queen Camilla. While details remain cloudy, the mere hint of such a ruling has sent shockwaves through royal circles. At the heart of this uproar is the enduring myth that Diana was a threat to Charles and Camilla's future happiness. Diana's immense popularity, her desire to speak openly about her struggles, and her split from Charles changed the monarchy in ways few had ever imagined. Then came the car crash in Paris, officially blamed on paparazzi and a driver unfit for the road. Almost immediately, however, the public demanded more answers. Were the paparazzi truly alone in pushing the events of that tragic night? Could Diana's own fears of being harmed have any basis in reality? Over the decades, official inquiries in France and the United Kingdom concluded the same thing: an accident spurred by high speed and a driver under the influence. However, critics remained unconvinced. Leaked letters, eyewitness contradictions, and Diana's own statements about feeling unsafe fanned the flames. Meanwhile, Charles and Camilla gradually repaired their public image, from quietly attending charitable events to sharing the occasional light-hearted moment in front of the cameras. Their marriage in 2005 ultimately secured their place as a recognized couple under the monarchy's banner. But in the eyes of some, Diana's death still lingered as a dark cloud. Now, with rumors of a court verdict that names Charles and Camilla as complicit, public reaction has been explosive. Some insist it confirms long-held suspicions that Diana was removed to clear the way for the couple's future. Others dismiss the entire story as yet another example of clickbait and sensational gossip. Still, the mere idea of a verdict that points at the king and queen consort is enough to shake even the most rigid supporters of the crown. Royal experts argue that any alleged new evidence would need to be concrete to overturn previous investigations. The monarchy itself has not acknowledged any such verdict, and official palace communications have been silent. Nonetheless, the rumor mill keeps spinning, especially on social media platforms where hashtags referencing Diana's name trend alongside bold statements of "justice served." For those who truly believe in foul play, it feels like a moment of vindication. For others, it is heartbreakingly unjust that Charles and Camilla must once again face accusations many hoped had been laid to rest. You might think first ladies and other wives of politicians live life like a bed of roses with minimal political responsibilities compared to their husbands, but you won't believe how strict certain rules they have to live by are. From being obligated to respect a Christmas tradition and being sidelined in government decisions to feeling oppressed by a very patriarchal government, here are some of the strict rules wives of famous politicians have to follow. Melania Trump. In recent months, Melania Trump, the United States First Lady, has trended for a strict rule. She was caught on tape in 2018 venting about how unfair it was that she was getting criticized for her husband's policy of separating families at the US-Mexico border.
The First Lady is heard speaking about the controversial policy of separating children from their parents after crossing the US-Mexico border.
At the same time, she was expected to perform First Lady traditions like get ready for Christmas. Melania was frustrated that people were attacking her for something she didn't have control over. She felt like she was being held responsible for her husband's decisions, which wasn't fair. This recording was made by Stephanie Winston Wolkoff, a former friend and advisor to Melania. Melania was upset that while she had other major duties regarding immigration, she was instructed to prioritize Christmas decorations at the White House. Then, after she did it, the masses complained she was working on Christmas and neglected attending to children who were separated from their parents as a result of their illegal immigration. Melania's team was not happy about the recording being released. Her chief of staff, Stephanie Grisham, called out Wolkoff for secretly taping Melania and breaking a confidentiality agreement to write a book. Grisham thought Wolkoff was just trying to get attention and make money off the recording.
And then I do it, and I say that I'm working on Christmas, planning for the Christmas, and they said, oh, what about the children that they were separated? Give me a break.
She also questioned the timing of the release and accused Wolkoff of being self-pitying and narcissistic. The recording sparked a lot of debate, with some people defending Melania and others criticizing her for not speaking out more against her husband's policies. Was Melania's rant justified? If you think the Christmas decoration rule is unnecessarily strict, wait until you hear what other wives of famous politicians have had to go through. Ri Sol-ju, North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un, is known for his strict and unusual rules, and his wife, Ri Sol-ju, is no exception. When Ri Sol-ju first appeared alongside Kim Jong-un in 2012, people began to speculate about her identity, and it was eventually confirmed that she was his wife. But what's really shocking is the strict rules she has to follow. For starters, she was reportedly forced to marry Kim Jong-un, and she had to give up her birth name and adopt a new one. Her entire past was also kept hidden, and even her real name and year of birth are still a mystery. Ri Sol-ju's life is highly controlled, and she's not allowed to make many choices for herself. She can't choose her own hairstyle or dress code, and she's not allowed to leave North Korea. When she started having the president's kids, she was expected to keep bearing children until she gave birth to a son. These rules are just the tip of the iceberg, and Ri Sol-ju's life is still heavily scrutinized and controlled by Kim Jong-un and the North Korean government. Even with her limited freedom, Ri Sol-ju has been spotted accompanying Kim Jong-un on official visits and has even been given the title of Respected First Lady, Kim Keon-hee. When Yoon Suk-yeol was running for president, he promised to get rid of the unofficial support system for the president's spouse. This was part of his plan to overhaul the presidential office and tackle issues that came up during the campaign. Yoon's wife, Kim Keon-hee, is a businesswoman who runs an art event company. She faced a lot of criticism and scrutiny from the media and politicians about her personal life and work. There were even claims that she had falsified her academic credentials and plagiarized her PhD thesis, which led to her issuing a public apology.
Kim Gun-hee, wife of People Power Party presidential candidate Yoon Suk-yeol, made a public apology for fabricating her resume.
At first, Kim kept a low profile and supported Yoon from behind the scenes. But after Yoon became president, Kim's public profile skyrocketed, and she found herself at the center of new controversies. For instance, when Kim paid her respects to the late former president Roh Moo-hyun and met his widow, she wore an outfit that sparked a lot of debate. Supporters of Roh and opposition parties weren't happy with Kim's fashion choice, and some even criticized her for bringing her former art company team along. But no one can deny the fact that she stood her ground. Some wives of politicians are real firecrackers, refusing to be tied down by traditional expectations, while others, like Miriam Gonzalez, wife of Liberal Democrat leader Nick Clegg, take a more relaxed approach, and you're about to see how. Miriam Gonzalez Durantes. Miriam is a great example of a modern political spouse. She's confident, has her own career as head of a trade department at a global law firm, and isn't afraid to speak her mind. Despite being a strong, independent woman, Miriam still looks the part of a traditional politician's wife, always stylishly dressed and impeccably groomed. She and her husband Nick share household responsibilities and support each other's careers, making them a great example of a modern, equal partnership. Not all wives of politicians are as outspoken as Miriam, though. Some, like Norma Major, prefer to keep a low profile and avoid controversy, even when faced with difficult situations like their husband's infidelity. Others, like Sandra Howard, may wait until their husband's political career is over before pursuing their own interests. These women often feel pressure to put their husband's career first and avoid doing anything that might overshadow his achievements. As Sandra Howard recalls being told, a political spouse can't win their husband's seat, but they can definitely lose it. Even with these challenges, many wives of politicians are finding ways to forge their own paths and make a positive impact, whether through their careers, charitable work, or simply by being a supportive partner. Peng Liyuan. Peng Liyuan is the wife of China's President Xi Jinping, but she's an extraordinary person. Born on November 20th, 1962, in Yan'an County, Shandong Province, China, Peng started singing at a very young age. She was only 4 or 5 years old when she began singing opera songs, inspired by her mother's successful career. As she grew older, Peng continued to pursue her passion for music. Throughout the 1980s, Peng Liyuan continued to pursue her passion for music, joining a performing group and winning numerous awards, including a gold medal at a national singing competition. At this point in her life, Peng Liyuan was free to do as she pleased, performing wherever she wanted without anyone telling her what to do. But in 1987, she married Xi Jinping, who was then a government official in a small city. Although Peng Liyuan's marriage to Xi Jinping might have seemed like it could change her life, it didn't slow her down at first. She continued to pursue her education, earning a master's degree in music from the China Conservatory of Music in 1990.
Peng Liyuan has come a long way from her days as an 80s folk singer, but whilst some may have raised eyebrows when this video first emerged, it's worth remembering she holds a master's degree in music and is, believe it or not, a major general in the People's Liberation Army.
This made her the first person in China to earn a master's degree in folk singing. But when Xi Jinping became the leader of the Chinese Communist Party in 2012, Peng Liyuan's role changed, and she became more involved in politics and cultural affairs. As the First Lady of China, Peng Liyuan had to start traveling the world with President Xi Jinping, sharing Chinese culture and building strong relationships with other countries. Martha Washington. The role of the First Lady in America has undergone a lot of changes over the years. Historically, the president's spouse was expected to be the perfect hostess, handling domestic affairs with ease. Martha Washington, for instance, was highly respected and affectionately called Lady Washington. This trend continued with Abigail Adams and Dolly Madison, who were also referred to as Lady due to their esteemed positions. But the term Lady was somewhat controversial, as it sounded too British and royal, which didn't align with America's values of independence. Many First Ladies, including Jackie Kennedy, weren't fond of the title, with Kennedy joking that it sounded like a racehorse's name. As time passed, the role of the First Lady evolved, and they began to take on more responsibilities and initiatives. Edith Roosevelt was the first to hire a federally funded social secretary, while Lou Hoover expanded her staff. Eleanor Roosevelt had a personal secretary, social secretary, and administrative secretary, and Jackie Kennedy hired the first press secretary. Later, First Ladies, such as Rosalind Carter, had a chief of staff to handle projects and initiatives. These women became powerhouses, leading the charge on various issues, including environmentalism, women's rights, education, and healthcare. From Mary Todd Lincoln's advocacy for education and jobs for freed slaves to Michelle Obama's efforts to combat childhood obesity, each First Lady has left their mark. Their style and fashion sense have also been iconic, with Frances Cleveland's wedding hairstyle and Nancy Reagan's signature red style being unforgettable. This list gets more interesting with the rules Michelle Obama had to follow when she was a First Lady. Michelle Obama.